Hello everyone and welcome back to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Aquaman, my 7th most anticipated movie of the year. So obviously this is the 6th film in the now controversial DCEU, and the first time seeing everyone's favorite Fishman in a live-action feature. Well, a solo feature at least. I'm not much of a big fan of Aquaman, but in recent years he's gotten more attention from the video games. Mainly the Injustice video games, which I clearly recommend playing, by the way. With this movie, will this character gain new water levels, or will there be some scrap heap under the sea? Let's figure it out. My apologies of the terrible ocean sea puns there. So anyways, in the movie, it seemingly takes place after the events of Justice League, and Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, is forced into Atlantis because Ocean Master is declaring war on the surface world and has to stop him from doing so. So basically, I've seen this kind of story arc before, but for the case of Aquaman's first solo film, I think it's done pretty well. Cliched, I notice, but for what it's worth, how it's done here I find pretty unique, because mainly it takes place in a beautifully lit underwater world. There are a few problems with the movie I have, though, like the length, because I felt a tiny bit... let me start over. It felt like a tiny bit of an eternity to go through, and one of the villains being underused as a whole. At least it's what it felt like, if you ask me. I will say this, though. There are some amazing moments in the movie, and I can name only one, and it involves a plasma/laser cannon, and it was almost jaw-dropping to me. For the characters, there's Arthur, Aquaman. I will say this, he pretty much showed his true might compared to his appearance in Justice League. This seemed as a great moment for him to grow as a character. It pretty much succeeded in that department. Orm, aka Ocean Master, he is like a jealous king stereotype. Like a wanting to beat someone type of jealous. I like to compare him to Arden from Final Fantasy XV. There is also this character Mira, who is like a literal water wizard. It's like she learned a lot from that character named Juvia from that anime fairy tale. The best part about her besides that was her interactions with Arthur. And then there's this librarian type character named Volkov, I think that's his name is. Or I don't know. It's just me. He is like a mentor type figure to Arthur. But I can't help but figure he might have a personal agenda in mind. There were a few moments with him that I figured he has something planned for the future. And then finally you have Black Manta, who I think is the best character here in my opinion. The only problem is he wasn't in the movie as much as I thought, but every time he's on screen, it gets more interesting and more epic. There is one more character I want to talk about, but I can't because it would require spoiling. So I will say this. Just when they're gone, they appeared much later, out of nowhere, as the movie progresses. With all that said, despite those two problems, being too long and an underused villain, I still had a great time with this film. They even kept the classic color scheme for the Aquaman character, so I will give this movie a plus for that. So I'm going to give Aquaman an 8.5 out of 10. I know I've said I'm going to review Into the Spider-Verse, but a change in plans. After this, I'm going to try to see Bumblebee because both that and Aquaman came out during the same day. Then I will try to see the Spider-Verse first thing next month. I hope you all understand. With all that said, don't forget to like this video, comment down your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it, and I hope you all have a blurific Merry Christmas.